न चोरहार्यम न राजहार्यम न भ्रातृभाज्यम न च भारकारी व्यये कृते वर्धत एव नित्यम विद्याधनम सर्वधनात् प्रधानम. It can't be stolen by thieves, nor taken away by kings, nor divided, not even heavy on shoulders to carry. The wealth of knowledge is the supreme wealth. More importantly, if shared well, the knowledge keeps growing in abundance. A very good afternoon to one and all. On behalf of the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, I, Jayashree Sharma, General Manager Human Resources, Delhi Metro Rail Corporation Limited, welcome you all most cordially to the inaugural session of the annual flagship event, the 16th Urban Mobility India Conference 2023. The theme of the conference is Integrated and Resilient Urban Transport. It's my honor and great pleasure to welcome you all to the inaugural session presided over by our Honorable Union Minister, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, and Petroleum and Natural Gas, Shri Hardeep Singh Puri ji, in the distinguished presence of Shri Pradeep Singh Kharola, Chairman and Managing Director, India Trade Promotion Organization, Shri Manoj Joshi, Secretary MOHUA, Shri Vikas Kumar, Managing Director, Delhi Metro Rail Corporation Limited, Shri Jaideep, OSD UT ex officio Joint Secretary, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Mr. Ashish Kundra, Principal Secretary cum Commissioner, Transport Department, Government of NCT Delhi. I request and welcome Honorable Union Minister Shri Puri ji and other dignitaries to come on the dais and grace the occasion with their eminent presence. Please come on the dais, sir. Stepping ahead with the Indian tradition of lighting the lamp before we begin any event, may I request Honorable Union Minister, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs and Petroleum and Natural Gas, Shri Hardeep Singh Puri ji, for lighting the lamp. Other dignitaries are also requested to join him. Shubham karoti kalyanam, arogyam dhan sampadam, shatru buddhi vinashaya, deepa jyoti namostute.
तुषारहारधवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्करप्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापहा.
May the light of this lamp illuminate our path and guide us towards the truth and knowledge. Now I request Shri Manoj Joshi ji to felicitate the Honorable Minister Shri Hardeep Singh Puri ji with the shawl. Thank you, sir. Now I request Shri Jaideep ji to felicitate the ITPO Chairman and Managing Director, Mr. Pradeep Singh Kharola, with the shawl. Now I request Shri Vikas Kumar ji to felicitate Secretary MOHUA Shri Manoj Joshi ji with the shawl. Now I request Shri Vikas Kumarji to felicitate Principal Secretary cum Commissioner, Government of NCT Delhi, Shri Ashish Kundraji with the shawl. Thank you, sir. There are several informative and vitalizing sessions lined up during the 3 days of the conference, wherein a stimulating exchange of ideas and innovations are expected. I urge the distinguished audience to seize the day and grab the opportunity to be inquisitive, learn from the experienced speakers, and create new networks during this period. May I now request Shri Manoj Joshi, Secretary MOHUA, to open the dialogue with his views and extend the formal welcome to the dignitaries.
Honorable Minister, Shri Hardeep Puri ji, Shri Kharola ji, Shri Ashish Kundra, MD DMRC, Jaideep, and friends. Let me first formally welcome Honorable Minister Shri Hardeep Puri ji to this conference. I also welcome Mr. Kharola, who has been MD of Bangalore Metro and has wide experience in mobility area. I welcome Shri Ashish Kundra, Secretary Transport, Government of Delhi. I welcome MDs of various metro companies. I see Rathore Saab, I see MD MMRCL, UP Metro, MD NCRTC, Maha Metro, Kochi Metro. I see a lot of other people, probably I'm not seeing them right now. We have suppliers of and our partners, be it their technology partners, we are construction firms, people who are helping us in Make in India, who are manufacturing various things in India or supplying from outside, people who are doing designing for metro systems, people who are involved in e-buses and various other mobility solutions. I welcome all of you in this conference. Last few years have been very frantic pace in the mobility area, with the emphasis being given by Honorable Prime Minister on mobility and in particular urban mobility. I don't think we had seen so much of investment happening, and there are few areas where we have taken a lot of initiatives. One is this urban e-bus, PM e-bus Seva, by which 10,000 buses are being launched. We got some 5,000 buses orders from the state governments, and this is coming with the state government guarantee and assurances of payments. So this time OEMs should be far more interested, and we got 5,000 bus requirement, and we are floating tenders next week for these buses. Hopefully in next few months we will see rollout in beyond those 9 cities where e-buses were there under FAME. In all other smaller cities who had never seen even the bus service, we'll see now e-bus in those cities. In metros, our emphasis is now more and more saturating the cities where already metro is there, so that the full benefit of metro comes. Probably a single line or 2 lines in metro doesn't give that much benefit as 6 or 7 lines in a city gives, and that is what is happening now. In metro system, our focus is obviously more and more should be manufactured in India. More and more systems should be agnostic to suppliers. We would like not to be beholden to if we have bought something 10 years back, and if you are expanding it to 6 lines now, that becomes a challenge. We are also making effort for standardization and optimization so that the costs go down. The lower the costs are, more we can expand the network. There is now we would like a better planning of metro systems and route alignment, as well as projection of traffic. We would like, few days back we had a conference by DMRC and I Metro on with different technology suppliers and institutions as to how to develop transportation models for better designing the routes and predicting the traffic. There is not much work has happened in India, but we would like to partner with mass data providers like Google and others, as well as with academic institutions for better prediction of traffic demand. We would also, the next area of focus, as I said, other than e-bus, is the last mile connectivity. This is one area which is hindering, which is a challenge. Like Delhi, in a way, has solved the problem of last mile connectivity by e-rickshaws, where one gets a drop close to the house by paying 10 a shared e-rickshaw, which probably charges 10 rupees for 2-3 kilometer last mile connectivity. But then there is an associated problem of too many e-rickshaws being in Delhi and areas around metro stations being choked with traffic problems. Uh, so, because of a lot of other reasons, no other city has allowed e-rickshaws the way Delhi has provided, and so all of them are facing last mile connectivity problem. Somehow our bus networks, despite a lot of alignment, are not able to provide the last mile connectivity which e-rickshaw in Delhi is able to provide, but with the associated traffic jams around metro stations. So that is a area to be pondered upon. uh, Whether a smaller, because most of the even auto rickshaws are much more expensive. They probably cost 300,000 rupees or more, while e-rickshaw costs 100,000 rupees. So that's why they are able to offer such cheap ridership, last mile connectivity, which we are not experienced anywhere else. So last mile connectivity is very, very important, particularly in cities other than Delhi and Mumbai, where you are forced to take metro beyond a 10-kilometer distance. Even if you're with your car, probably you'll take more than an hour, and by metro, if you can reach in half an hour, you will have to take metro. You can't go by car in Mumbai and Delhi in a lot of places. While in other cities, that alternative is there. A two-wheeler or a four-wheeler alternative is there. So last mile connectivity is far more important in those uh, second cities smaller than Delhi and Mumbai. That's a very, very important issue for all the metros for ridership. Third area, as I said, is a standardization leading to cost reduction and more manufacturers making these things in India. This is another area of focus for government and Honorable Prime Minister, and we welcome partnership with all the global companies who partner with Metro, and in the Indian PSUs also, like Bell and BEML and others, and all the Indian private sector partners, innovators, to partner with us in better standardization and cost reduction. I look forward to this conference providing avenue for innovative areas like water metro in Kochi, or innovative solutions coming on the NCMC card or mobility card, where we can make it truly the card which everyone uses in India. We welcome all the partnerships in that and look forward to further deliberations today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your inspiring words. You have really highlighted the core issues in urban transport scenario in India, like last mile connectivity, standardization, and innovation. The key insights into the urban transport sector have laid the foundations for the sessions to come. I now invite Shri Pradeep Singh Kharola, Chairman and Managing Director, India Trade Promotion Organization, for keynote address. Mr. Kharola was earlier the Managing Director of the Bangalore Metro Rail Corporation Limited. He was also the founding Managing Director of the Bangalore Metropolitan Transport Corporation, BMTC. He has also been the Chairman and Managing Director of Air India. Welcome, sir.
आप सभी को नमस्कार. Honorable Minister Sir, seated on the dais, and my colleague. Secretary Saab, we have MD DMRC and Principal Secretary Transport Government of Delhi, Shri Jaideep ji, and all my friends from the urban transport family. First and foremost, let me extend my thanks to all of you for allowing me to rejoin the urban transport family once again. Well, if you look at the predominant trends influencing urban mobility, what do we see? We see rapid urbanization in the country, rapid economic growth, rising income levels, rising middle class population, and this is leading to increased transport demand and also increased demand for personalized modes of transport. And all this is posing a challenge to us in form of demand for improved public transport services. It's posing a challenge in form of increased congestion on roads. It is posing a challenge about safety. It is also posing a challenge about environmental issues. Well, government has been responding to this challenge through a large number of policy initiatives. It was the National Urban Transport Policy, then came the NTDPC in 2014, then came the Smart Cities Mission in 2014, then the Green Urban Mobility Scheme in 2017, then the National Policy on Transit-Oriented Development and the Metro Rail Policy in 2017. As a result of this, we have seen substantial improvement in public transport systems in several cities in the country. And today, public transport in cities is provided by a mix of different modes, ranging from suburban trains, metro rails, buses, BRTs, and personalized modes and intermediate personal modes of transportation. Well, last decade has seen a rapid increase in the metro rail network. If you see, it was in 1984 that the metro rail made a small beginning in Kolkata, and today our metro rail network has crossed 1,000 kilometers in the city. The metro system is operational in about, I think, 18 to 20 cities right now, and we are looking forward to it being operational in 27 cities. The total ridership at the national level has crossed a figure of 1 crore per day, a significant achievement. Delhi Metro carries about 7 million, Bangalore Metro is aspiring to touch about 1 million, a substantial improvement in ridership. We have delivered the best standards of safety. Transportation, be it public or any mode of transportation, is not very well associated with safety. But metro systems inherently have been very safe. We rarely hear of any crashes or fatal accidents in metro system. That's a big achievement. On the environment and energy efficiency also, we have delivered very well. If you see, the energy consumed per passenger kilometer is much less in a metro rail system as compared to buses, and definitely much less than a car or a scooter. Well, we have new technologies emerging. We have the metro light and the new metro, and as Secretary Sir was just mentioning, that we have the e-bus seva. With all these interventions, lots of improvement, but still Delhi carries, if you look at the modal split, both modes of public transport, that is metro and bus together, accounts for only about 40% of the total passenger trips. As far as congestion is concerned, let's look at Bangalore. The commercial speeds in Bangalore city have fallen below 10 kilometers per hour, a cause of concern. The metro fares, are they affordable? Are we making public transport systems inclusive? Now, these are some of the challenges facing the urban transport policymakers. And I would try to summarize all these challenges into 7 main challenges which the urban transport sector is facing. The first challenge is the challenge of accessibility. Mass transport systems, be it the BRTs or rail-based transport systems, they are linear in directions. They are high-capacity transport systems, as a result of which their coverage becomes limited. They cannot go to each and every corner of the city. People demand door to door service. These systems can only provide service in high density corridors. That's why wherever the last mile connectivity is poor, the ridership in these big transport systems also does not reach the levels which we want them to achieve. Say, for example, that the policy says that 80% should be carried by public transport systems, and we are far from that. That is why it is important that when we talk of accessibility, all modes of transport are simultaneously developed. We need to understand the nuances, how other modes of transport function, and then come to with an integrated development of not only the mass transport systems but also the IPTs or the last mile modes of transport system, which may even include pedestrian pathways, buses, cycles, and IPTs, as Secretary was saying that about the e-rickshaws and all. The second aspect of financial accessibility is affordability. All public transport systems face a dilemma. The dilemma is viability versus affordability. The bus systems in this country have suffered because of this dilemma. How did they answer this? How did they resolve this issue of affordability versus viability? They just focused on affordability. Their target was somehow the fare should not reach beyond a certain level, and viability got sacrificed. As a result of this, the quality of services declined. People started leaving the bus system. Their economic viability further suffered. Therefore, we should view affordability and viability as two distinct elements. As far as operation of these systems are concerned, they have to be operated on a viable basis. But there are issues of affordability. We are a diverse country, and the system should cater to all categories of people, especially the poor people. For poor people, if the travel has to be made affordable, it should be an intervention by the government in providing directed assistance, and with electronic interfaces, with modern types of payment, electronic payments, smart cards, it is possible to do it. Therefore, the second point is that in accessibility, let's view viability and affordability distinctly. Let's not mix the two issues. The second important challenge is about integration. Now, we talk of integration because urban transport is to be provided by multiple stakeholders. And within the transport itself, there are various modes. And that is why it's all the more important that we require integration. This integration can take various forms. The first one is integration in planning. Even the city planning, town planning needs to be integrated with transport planning. In fact, transport planning should become an integral part of city planning, and modern cities need to be developed along transport corridors. First one. Second one is fare integration. We do talk of a common mobility card which can be used across the country and, more importantly, across different modes, but that does not bring fare integration. Fare integration would mean one type of distance linked fare for all modes which one takes. A difficult one, but once this is achieved, that becomes a real fare integration. The third one is infrastructural integration. Now, as Secretary Sir was saying that the moment e-rickshaws become popular, the metro stations became congested. Yes, we have to plan for it. The infrastructure has to be designed in such a way that it caters to all different modes of transport. And fourth one is the organizational integration. Today we have different modes of transport being handled by different organizations. Not only that, we have urban mobility related services being provided by different organizations, different bodies, and this fragmented approach has been commented in the past by many experts. UMTA was a solution, UMTA has been established, but still UMTA needs to be given more teeth so that it becomes real tool for integration in various types. So my second challenge was integration. The third was challenges managing the demand. Now, we are taking an approach that we want to build solutions. Of course, yes, we have to do it. We are managing the supply side. But the way demand is increasing, the way the Indian economy is growing, We will not be able to catch up with this, and therefore we have to take recourse to demand management. Demand management is a very effective tool, and it is being adopted by most developed countries in the world, and we have been adopting it in some measures, but a lot needs to be done. This demand management can be through planning interventions. We can plan cities in such a way that the workplace and the place of residence are closer to each other. We can do regulatory measures, well, odd even days or odd even numbers, and all these are regulatory measures. Third can be economic measures. Well, tolling of congested areas is one option. And last one is the information measures, which we develop awareness among the commuters to patronize public transport. The fourth challenge is the challenge of human resource. If we really see the cutting edge, let's go to a city, let's go to a city urban body or a city transport, bus transport, or a city regulator also. A typical thing is that there is an overstaffing. They are overstaffed with people who are untrained and unskilled, and they are understaffed with people who are competent. To give an example, when I was managing the Bangalore Metropolitan Transport Corporation, a workforce of 30,000. 30,000 being managed by 100 managers, not one of them had an MBA degree. Well, urban transport management, first of all, it's not a discipline which is taught anywhere. It is cross-cutting, it is multidimensional. Even so-called experts in urban transport do not know all aspects of urban transport. It's a difficult one. Therefore, we need to develop urban transport as a body of knowledge. And once this is done, parallelly, we have to ensure that capacity building takes place at cutting edge level. Metro systems are far, I would say, far more fortunate that they do have competent people, but the same thing cannot be said for other modes of transport like IPTs or the buses. Well, the fifth challenge is the buses. The buses cannot be wished away. Now, that's very important. As I said that, first of all, in tier 1 cities, we can have metro systems, but metro systems by themselves cannot provide a standalone solution. A combination of buses and metro system is very, very essential. But the bus systems in the country, as I mentioned that, in their dilemma between affordability and viability, their condition is pretty bad. They are very poorly managed, they are inefficient, a lot of pilferage, a lot of poor planning, route planning is bad, and because of this, the bus systems are not efficient. Unless we bring in structural changes, more efficiency, mere providing buses is not a solution. We have to ensure that these buses are managed and run on professional basis. So that needs to be done. We have to improve the capacity of people handling the different modes of transport. The sixth challenge I would say is creating a congenial atmosphere for public transport. Now, all public transport systems function within an external environment. This is the legal environment, the rules and the laws and all, the fiscal environment, and the various factors which impinge upon them, the government policies. Now, hitherto, the thinking was that the government policies, rules are given, and the transportation systems just cannot do anything about it. This needs to be changed. A classic example is the high rate of taxes on bus operations. A research paper says that of the total cost of operation of buses in India, 20% is the tax they suffer. Now, is it logical? So what is required is that if we can't play by the rules of the game, we have to work to change the rules of the game. So massive policy advocacy is required to ensure that public transport gets its due place in the system of things. And the last challenge which we are facing is the challenge of smaller cities. The smaller cities need attention immediately. In the smaller cities, whatever public transport we can see is provided by unorganized private operators who have absolutely no idea of what the public transport system is. There may be rickshaws, there may be taxis, there may be minibuses, and then there may be tempos, all modes of transport, and not one operates on perfectly planned model. The real growth in India is now shifting from tier 1 to tier 2 and tier 3 cities. It is very important that we pay attention to tier 2 and tier 3 cities And state governments really take up this issue, set up organization, and ensure that transport systems in tier 2, tier 3 cities are managed in a very professional way. I would like to conclude by saying that transportation is not a primary demand, it's a derived demand. People don't travel for the sake of traveling except for tourism. In urban transport scenario, people travel either for work or for some social requirement. And therefore, it is important that cities have today become engines of economic growth. The efficiency of this engine of economic growth depends upon the efficiency of the public transport system. If the public transport system is efficient, the city's economy becomes efficient and they develop economically, they generate more jobs. This what needs to be understood. The time is gone where we take view urban transport in isolation. Any decision taken in an isolated manner just results in knee-jerk reaction. Time has come when we view public transport as a system. A systems approach is necessary, and viewing in this thing as a total system, we understand how different systems impact each other, and a total view is taken, and a system approach is what is required today for ensuring that the public transport systems in the country get their due place. So with these few words, once again, I would like to thank all the organizers, and my special thanks to the Honorable Minister for giving me this chance to speak over here. And I would conclude over here. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir. Your insightful comments are really helpful to understand the urban transport scenario in India. You have brought out some very crucial issues like accessibility, viability versus affordability, integration, and human resource aspect too, the skilled manpower and competency building. Thank you very much again. We now have some publications which are to be released by the Honorable Minister, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs and Petroleum and Natural Gas. Now I request Honorable Minister to kindly release the toolkit on City Electric Mobility Strategy, CEMS. It is a framework for electric mobility and other alternate energy options as an integral part of the Comprehensive Mobility Plan, CMP strategy, by addressing various aspects of its preparation. Thank you very much, sir. The next release is a document titled Making Way for Buses Guidance for Bus Priority Measures in Indian Cities. This document has been prepared to encourage city officials and policymakers to incorporate bus priority into city planning process and guide them in its planning process. The document introduces various bus priority strategies and provide a decision-making framework which will facilitate the city officials in identification of corridors, reduction in delay and benefit to passengers. And lastly, our final release of the session is Green Urban Mobility Partnership Newsletter. It is a step up towards strengthening India's bilateral cooperation with Germany in combating climate change through fostering GUMP, Green Urban Mobility Partnership, between MOHUA and BMZ. May I request Shri Hardeep Singh Puri ji to please release a short film on integrated and resilient urban transport, which shows the major initiative taken by the MOHUA to ensure the sustainable and resilient urban mobility. Thank you very much, sir.
21st century India is a rising power, a nation determined in its effort to build a stellar economy and sustainable future. Embodying the spirit of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, India put forth resilient growth as part of its agenda priorities in the recently concluded 2023 G20 Summit. Under the aegis of Metro Rail Policy 2017, India now houses an extensive metro rail corridor of 895 km spanning over 20 cities. After completion of additional metro rail network of 965 kilometers, India is anticipated to have the second largest metro rail network in the world within 2 to 3 years. Introduction of newer variants like Water Metro, Namo Bharat train along with their subsequent integration with pre-existing modes is a new phenomena being observed in India's evolving transport sector. Realizing the multiplicity of transport modes, the PM Gati Shakti mission was launched in 2021.
21वीं सदी का हमारा भारत आज हर सेक्टर में, हर क्षेत्र में प्रगति की नई गाथा लिख रहा है। मल्टी मॉडल ट्रांसपोर्ट सिस्टम पर भी बहुत तेजी से काम चल रहा है। यानी यातायात के अलग अलग माध्यमों को आपस में जोड़ा जा रहा है।
With the aim of boosting multimodality in passenger mobility and foster logistical synergy across mobility services. Furthermore, widespread integration effort in 2023 like adoption of common fare through NCMC card are yet another stepping stone towards successful integration and resilient mobility. To achieve sustainable development goals that are reflected in COP27 commitments covers emission reduction by 45% and 50% energy production through non-fossil fuel resources by 2030. Through exploring the option of green fuels, India has kept pace with its bold ambition for becoming energy independent by 2047 and achieving net zero by 2070. For clean and green mobility, Government of India's newly announced PM E-Bus Seva scheme aims to augment city bus operation and anticipated to generate over 50,000 new jobs by deploying over 10,000 buses across 169 cities on the PPP model. With public bicycle sharing systems, feeder bus services, e-rickshaws and soft mobility, even non-serviceable areas of public transport now have connectivity and accessibility at affordable rates. With its distinct advantage of acting early and a strong sense of Atmanirbhar Bharat, India shall lead the way for the world towards integrated and resilient urban transport in near future.
Indeed, a great initiative and a collective effort under the guidance of MOHUA. Now we all are waiting to listen to the pearls of wisdom from our Honorable Minister of Housing and Urban Affairs and Petroleum and Natural Gas, Shri Hardeep Singh Puri ji. I now invite him to give his inaugural address. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. My colleagues and collaborators, Pradeep Singh Kharola ji, Manoj Joshi ji, Ashish Kundra ji, Vikas Kumar ji, Jaideep, distinguished guests and dignitaries who are present here today. I see so many old friends here today from the time I was a Joint Secretary in the Ministry of Defence to others with whom I've had the privilege of working over the years. We've heard two very interesting and very relevant sets of comments made by both Manoj ji and Kharola ji. Almost everything they said I can easily agree with. Therefore, I'm going to put my case before you somewhat differently. And I want to make 2 or 3 general comments, and then I come back to what I think is the state of play and where we go from here. The first point I wish to make is that we have changed, or rather we have succeeded in changing the methods, the approach to issues relating to urban transport. Clearly, urbanization poses challenges. Prior to 2014, it is my case that those challenges were there, they were growing, but somehow we were either in denial or we chose to address them at our own pace. Following 2014 and the Honorable Prime Minister assuming responsibility at the center, he embraced urbanization as an opportunity. And our friends in the West, many of them who are here today, with whom we are very happy to collaborate on issues of technology, not only the West, other parts of the world, on technology, on issues of everything that urban transport requires in terms of conceptualization, bringing concrete plans, implementing them, etc. I think we've changed our approach. And I was talking to the secretary and I asked him for some basic statistics, and both of us, I think, went through this. Our first attempt at what could be the beginnings of urban transport in terms of metro started in the city of Calcutta or Kolkata in 1972. It took them all the time till 1984 just to construct 4 kilometers. The total 16 kilometers were completed in 1995. And the last 5 or 6 kilometers, I think, were completed towards the end of last year. That's December 22. So just please calculate, we started in 1972. That's 28 years till 2000. And you added another 22 years full. It took us 50 years to complete a total part rail, part metro system of 45 kilometers. And the ridership there is only 7 lakhs a day, 700,000 a day. Contrast that to what we are doing now. On an average, from the time of start to completion running, it takes us now what? 4 years plus, 4 to 5 years to complete a process of installing an urban metro system in one city. The 895 kilometers that we have operational today in 20 cities or so will rise to 27 kilometers in another few years, 2 years or so. And by that time, we will have the world's second largest metro system. I don't cite these figures with any purpose because I have been, as in my previous profession and even earlier, I've lived in cities which had metro systems, tram systems, metro systems. I think those cities have done very well and they probably don't need to add. Whereas we started late, we've had the benefit of using technologies which were already available and developing on those technologies, getting new technologies. Today, we are in the happy situation of already beginning to conceptualize the next phase of our urban transport ecosystem. One of those has been commented on extensively by both Secretary Manoj Joshi ji and Pradeep Kharola ji. By the way, I want to tell you, I had the privilege of having him as a colleague. And when he came from, after running buses and metros in Bangalore, then he joined us as CMD of Air India. That is when I was Civil Aviation Minister for some time. Then he joined me as Civil Aviation Secretary. And I think so he's got experience of what buses, metro, and civil aviation. And now he's converting all that into conference tourism in terms of the ITPO which he's heading. Now, I want to make a general point, which is the problem of last mile connectivity that both of them have touched on extensively. I tend to share the urgency that they talk about, which they mention. But I'm a little more relaxed when it comes to what I see happening. And mine is a very basic thing. First of all, our cities are growing very fast. The phenomena of urbanization is taking place at a pace which is mind-boggling. And therefore, we have to plan on a much larger scale. Therefore, transportation within cities, you will have something like 895 plus another 960 kilometers with as conceptualized presently in 27 cities. Then you will have connectivity between cities in terms of Rapid X or RRTS, etc. And we've got onto a good beginning there. And you have railways, Vande Bharat, etc. When you come inside cities, yes, I share the urgency because against the backdrop of the fact that most of our urban transport, especially in the smaller cities, is in the unorganized private sector, which by itself is not a bad thing to have the private sector unorganized. But I don't think it is geared to meeting the kind of demand that is going to arise. We have currently in the organized sector buses only about 40,000 in our cities. Anyone looking at that figure should be rightly worried because you need a minimum of 120 to 150,000. But I believe that beginning has been made. We earlier had taken 9 of the bigger cities under FAME 1 and FAME 2 to get proper, sustainable green mobility there. Now we are taking the rest of the cities, and I have no doubt that the manner in which the e-bus Yojana has been conceptualized with the first 10,000, I think that will lead to it is the start of a process which will lead to many more follow-up schemes for e-buses. Of course, we have to take some very important and difficult decisions. It is very easy and more easy and to implement if you don't insist on e-buses and you bring in the fossil fuel buses. But I think we have tried to take the more difficult decisions. You will have to make provisions to have this form of mobility succeed in terms of the viability quotient for the smaller cities, because it's not going to be easy by itself. And given the climatic and other reasons, you will have to also ensure that this new attempt does not result in people saying, let's go back to diesel buses, let's do this, let's do that. I mean, there has to be a transition. But I can tell you with the experience I have in both the ministries that I'm associated with, currently Housing, Urban Affairs, and Petroleum and Natural Gas, that if you forget about what's happening in India, what happens in these two sectors, urban affairs in terms of how the urban economy is growing, its contribution to the national GDP, the shift to green technologies for construction, and a host of other things. These give you a pretty good idea of how a country is faring. Equally, if you look at the energy consumption, the mix, and the direction in which you are going, it gives you a very good idea of how the economy is doing. And I think on both those counts, we can be really proud of what we have succeeded in doing. And let me give you some startling figures. One of them already, I think Pradeep ji mentioned, we have 1 crore passengers riding the metro system every day in India. I see that increasing on a number of accounts. I mean, you may not add substantially more than the 1,000 kilometers under construction. But what you will do is, when you ease the last mile connectivity and when you bring in the other factors, you will find that the exercise of choice, what it ultimately depends. Why would you want to take out your two-wheeler or three-wheeler or any personal mode of transport if you have a public transport system which is well developed? Today, I don't know whether most of you are familiar, about 60 million, 6 crore people go to the retail point every day to fill gasoline, to diesel, petrol, whatever. 60 million people in a day, if you look at that in global terms, is an astronomical figure. But here again, the news is very good. Up to about 2014, the biofuel mixing that we were able to do in the fuel that we were retailing, after many attempts, we had a very modest target of 5% in 10 of our cities and union territories, and yet we were able to do only 1.4% biofuel blending. In 2014, when the Prime Minister assumed responsibility, we set ourselves a target of 10% blending by November 2022. And the good news is we did it 5 months in advance. Today we have a target of 20% blending, which has been moved forward by 5 years. We were supposed to complete 20% blending by 2030. We are now going to be able to do 20% blending by 2025. E20 blended fuel, which was introduced into the market in April of this year, is now retailing at over 5,500 retail stations. And we will get 20% blended fuel. Now, two things. Our consumption is shooting up. As an economy, the more number of people are using energy. I mean, many are shifting, I'm coming to. And to be able to do 20% of whatever is that by 2025, I think is a fairly impressive figure. If you look at the other forms of energy, clean energy, compressed biogas, etc., the number of cars coming onto the market, both in terms of electric vehicles, compressed biogas. Electric vehicles, yes, you could argue that till the grid is not totally green, it's only offering you partial relief in terms of forward movement. But I can say with a degree of confidence, and here I must choose my words very carefully. A lot of people ask me, when will energy prices go through the roof? I mean, they talk about the global turbulence, etc. And to which my answer is that our experience of the last 2-3 years has taught us that the more uncertainty you have in terms of global energy situation, the faster is the rate of transition. In other words, in the year when there was maximum turbulence, the International Energy Agency said that the transition was much faster. We in India have very successfully navigated the three pillars of that trilemma. One is availability. In the last 2-3 years, at no point has there ever been any shortage of energy availability in any part of the country. Even when there were severe floods in the northeast, our oil marketing company people carried the LPG cylinder on their shoulder and delivered it there. Affordability, at a time when in the non-oil producing countries, prices went up between 40 and 70%. In India, in the last 523 days, because I used the figure 522 yesterday, the prices have actually come down of petrol by 5% and diesel by about 0.2%. Sustainability, so we ensured availability, we ensured affordability, and we also are going strong on green transition. I mentioned the biofuels story. We have now joined other countries in establishing a biofuels alliance. I think the further expansion of urban metro, which is the cleanest form of transport, that plus the last mile connectivity, plus what we are doing on our roads will hopefully, and by the way, one of the OMCs set up a second generation ethanol production facility in Panipat using agricultural waste of parali. That's very important because otherwise the parali will be burnt by the farmer and you have them. So I think we are moving ahead on all the fronts. But I think the real story will come when our metro system will be fully operational. The RRTS will develop way beyond the Delhi Meerut 82 kilometers or so. You have these other corridors. And when the composition of the support system will not lead to, as Manojji says, concentration at the station, a lot of this thing, I think things will develop and I see the beginnings of that. Of course, in all that we are doing, these are time context objectives. We are ultimately going to be moving to green hydrogen. That is the fuel of the future. And I think I'll give you an example with RRTS. I am now getting a lot of feedback. There are a lot of people who work in Delhi and who live in, let's say, Meerut or around Meerut. They get up at 6:30 in the morning to come and work in Delhi. And then after doing day's work, they reach back at 10 o'clock. A journey of 3 hours, which could get worse with the consent, will be completed in about 50 minutes or so. That plus the fact that you have more efficient road transport and you will be shifting the fuel. I think it's only a matter of time that you will move to green hydrogen. I know I'm thinking a little ahead, 2030 and above ahead. Green hydrogen lends itself to support in countries which have a large demand, where production can take place and where consumption can also take place. Because by its very nature, a gas does not lend itself to transportation. Yes, there are companies which have done very well. They are into green hydrogen, but they are exporting green ammonia from India to Germany, from India to Singapore, etc. So I think we have got a fascinating situation in overall terms. Urban space is growing. It contributes to 65% of our GDP. That's going to go up with the passage of time. Number of people who will be living in urban areas will increase. I don't know, it would be what, 35% now. Last census was 2011. When we get the next census in a year's time, it should be 34%, if not more. And by the time you reach to 2040 or 2050, and you have to plan on issues like this on a longer term perspective, we would have something like between 600 and 800 million people living in urban spaces. That requires the most efficient urban transport system and the entire ecosystem to be recast. So I think the kind of deliberations you're going to have now, bringing together both the project managers of the different metro systems, people in the ministry and other parts of the government who are associated with this, and also the private sector, our collaborators from outside the country, those who have already partnered. And I can conclude with one comment. I've been a professional diplomat for about 39 years and I worked 6 years in a related field in New York. I cannot think of any country in the world today, and I say this with confidence, where the kind of economic opportunity that India has to offer right now, because you've got all the coordinates in place for very rapid expansion of urban transport. And I think the challenge is to get it right, not to take the shortcuts, not to do it in a haphazard manner, and demonstrate a totally new and efficient Gati Shakti spirit. And I believe the fact that it took 50 years to produce 45 kilometers between 1972 and December 22 in Kolkata, and it takes 4 years to do that much or more now, shows that we have changed, and we have changed for the better. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Your thought-provoking words are a source of inspiration for all of us. You have touched upon the core issues in urban transport and shared some insightful, encouraging, and interesting statistics, which provides guidelines to chalk out the future initiatives in sustainable mobility. To conclude the inaugural session, may I request Shri Vikas Kumar, Managing Director, Delhi Metro Rail Corporation Limited, to propose a formal vote of thanks to the conference.
Shri Hardeep Singh Puri ji, Honorable Minister for Housing and Urban Affairs and Petroleum and Natural Gas, Government of India. Shri Pradeep Singh Kharola, CMD, ITPO. Shri Manoj Joshi ji, Secretary Mahua. Shri Ashish Kundra ji, Principal Secretary Transport, Government of NCTD. Shri Jaideep, OSD UT. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to all of you. This inaugural session today has marked the commencement of 16th Urban Mobility India Conference and Expo. We have gathered here today to embark on a transformative journey towards creating sustainable, integrated, and resilient urban transport systems that will shape the future of our cities. The conference has brought together a remarkable assembly of experts and visionaries from across the globe, and we are very grateful for this. The Government of India has taken number of initiatives to integrate urban mobility and provide seamless and reliable travel options for the citizens. In this inaugural session today, we had the opportunity to listen to our Honorable Minister Shri Hardeep Singh Puri ji. I have always looked forward to interactions and meetings with him. He is always so passionate and committed to transform the urban landscape of India. With his wide global experience over the last many decades, he has been a guiding force for all of us working in this sector. His inaugural address today was also full of ideas and vision for a sustainable future of urban mobility in India. Sir, your wisdom and insights are invaluable for us, and your commitment inspires us all. On behalf of the entire fraternity working in the urban mobility sector in our country, I take this privilege and opportunity to thank you, sir, for sparing your valuable time to enlighten all of us. I also thank you for, in fact, unveiling the publications which will help all the urban planners and go a long way in helping them plan out the urban transport systems. I would also like to thank our Secretary, Shri Manoj Joshi ji, for his august presence today. Shri Joshi has an in-depth understanding of urban transport sector, and over the years it has been an absolute honor to have worked with him. His futuristic ideas and astute leadership have helped in taking the mass transit sector forward by leaps and bounds in our country. Today we are also privileged to have with us two very eminent and distinguished personalities who are respected worldwide for their knowledge and contribution to urban mobility. Shri Pradeep Singh Kharola ji, CMD ITPO, and Shri Ashish Kundra ji, Transport Secretary, Government of NCTD. It was indeed a pleasure to listen to Shri Pradeep Singh Kharola ji. The deliberations have indeed set a tone for the progress of this 3-day conference. We also express our profound gratitude to all our esteemed guests whose presence today adds great privilege to our event. I would also like to extend our appreciation to all delegates and participants who have traveled from near and far to join us in pursuit of excellence in urban transport. Your engagement and enthusiasm will definitely make this conference a vibrant and dynamic forum of change. I would also like to thank all our sponsors, officials of the ministry, our friends from IUT, and representatives from all other agencies who have worked tirelessly to ensure a seamless execution of this conference. Once again, on the behalf of organizing committee and Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, I extend my heartfelt thanks to all of you for being a part of this remarkable event. Let us leave here inspired and ready to shape the future of urban mobility in India. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir, for your kind words. It was said by Buddha, quote, "An idea that is developed and put into action is more important than an idea that exists only as an idea." With this thought, we extend our heartfelt gratitude to all the esteemed guests and keynote speaker in the inaugural session for reaffirming our commitment to innovate, to lead, and to improve the transport sector, thereby setting the context for the upcoming 3-day deliberations. With your thought-provoking views and future perspectives as guiding light, we wish everyone partaking in the conference well and look forward for its productive and fulfilling outcome. Thank you very much. Jai Hind. Now I would request my friend from media to proceed towards Talwar Hall for the press conference. Thank you.